Hey guys, Magic here, and it's time to talk about a very controversial topic, but nobody's that passionate about it. It's just people are all over the place on this. Should you not buy or trade for or acquire or use or anything cards from BFZ, OGW, Shadows, or Eldritch Moon? Because they're, quote, about to cycle out. Well, first of all, let's just dispel that myth, because it's 115 days, also known as about 1/3 of a year, which, okay, I mean, it's not real long. I mean, if you could keep a card for a year in Magic, that's a little bit better. A lot of the dual lands, you keep them for, what, a year and a half? Like the full entire time that they're legal, basically. But if you do divide it out, that's about 16 Friday Night Magic. So that's a lot to me. And I think there's a lot contributing to the whole, no, if you need it, buy it thing. But this is very not black and white. It depends on your personal playstyle, your opinions, your money, your budget, everything, pretty much. Now, first, let's disqualify some stuff. So let's look at the worst of the worst, which is Battle for Zendikar, right? And I do mean worst of the worst. If you open a box of BFZ, it's worth, what, like $35 or something? Ulamog is $26. Okay, so I believe Ulamog hit about $8 or $9 at one point. The only reason he's higher now is because he's in the top deck, and also, I mean, BFZ was open to death. I couldn't tell you what happened to the, millions of copies of Ulamog, but apparently people want them again, so people jacked up the prices. I don't know. You would think a lot of people have them rolling around somewhere, or people just buy listed them to death. The price dropped, and now that it's spiked, like, why? It's not like the stocks are running out, the people buy listed them. So I don't really understand that, but if you're looking at a card from a set that's, quote, about to cycle out, which I still don't think that's an accurate term considering, hello, it's 1/3 of a year, if that particular card is outrageously expensive, like 15 and up, it's in a net deck, just don't net deck. I mean, I'm not going to tell you how to save money and spend your money wisely if you're net decking, because that's a complete and utter oxymoron. That's like you jump in a pool and you start asking me how not to get wet. You're already past that. So would I say it's wise if somebody asked me, should I spend $26 times 4 on Ulamog for my deck because I want him in my deck? Hell no. But if Ulamog was printed in Amonkhet and he was $26, what would my answer be? Hell no. Just don't spend $26 on a card. So that's completely beyond the point. It's not because, BFZ is about to cycle out. It's just don't spend that damn much. I mean, and don't build the top decks because you'll just waste money. If you're like, I just have to win, I have to win because prizes. Yeah, no, the prizes aren't going to add up to $300 that you spent on your deck. Trust me. But let's look at something more reasonable. So, I mean, you got your Shambling Vents, $4.99. They're a little bit cheaper on eBay, I believe. Most popular manland by far. Black-White's kind of popular right now in the secondary tiers. And then you got your Drana for like $4.50. Your Dragon Master Outcast, hello, overlooked but awesome much, $4. Obnixilis, duh, he's a Planeswalker, $3.50. $3 for Kiora, duh, she's a Planeswalker. Planeswalkers just don't go below $3. It doesn't happen. Void Winnower, $3. I don't really understand that, but I guess it's a cheaper Ulamog substitute. Still quite good. Then you got your Cinderglade, your Smoldering Marsh, all the other dual lands, Prairie Stream, Sunken Hollow, all that. I mean, they're like $2 to $3 a piece. So let's stop right there. If you're playing those two colors, should you say, oh, nope, those are BFZ lands. I don't want to lose all my money. I'm gonna not invest in them at all. I can't lose my $12. It's $12. I mean, most MTG decks cost like $50. It's just $12. I know that's not an insignificant amount of money for most people, me included, but, I mean, it's your mana base. You should kind of be accustomed to spending money on your mana base. And then the question really arises, why do you not have any of these? How are these not in your trade binder? I tend to make a habit of not trading away my dual lands, like, ever, for anything under any circumstance, because I might need them. They're the most likely to be needed in a deck without knowing more about the deck, which I don't because I haven't built them yet. So you can follow the logic and the math on that. Now, there is one thing to be said. Should you not necessarily just primarily say, okay, get out the credit card, boom, Cinderglades, 4-pack, $11, send them over. Should you instead just try to see if somebody at your LGS has them? I would say yes. I mean, even with the incredible distance of time before Ixalan's release, when all these cycle out, if you were to trade, a card for a card to get it, yeah, but then again, I would say that no matter what. Do I think that BFZ is a little bit of a factor? The fact that it's old and it's cycling out? Yeah, I guess, but not really. It's not a huge pull. I mean, should you try to trade for a card before spending cash on it all the time, no matter what? Pretty much. Unless it's like a $1 card, or you're purposely supporting your LGS, or you have a free credit online. There's all kinds of exceptions, obviously. But, I mean, if I could trade a card for a card, yeah, I'm going to. Although I buy list stuff and sell on eBay a lot, so all cards are just cash to me anyway, pretty much. No, if I could take a bunch of dollar cards and trade for an $8 card, that's a different story, because I probably would do that. But I would say, I mean, at least if you're somebody who never trades because you just like hate it or something, or I don't know, you don't like organizing a binder, maybe take the time to do that, because yeah, I mean, BFZ is going to be very worthless pretty soon, but then you've got all the counter evidence. One, the cards aren't very expensive no matter what you want, as long as it's not Gideon or Ulamog. And then two, they're out there, people open them to death, you can trade for them. The values are already down the toilet. Then there's the fact that a lot of these values are propped up by Modern and Commander already. They've already reached that. Like, if you look at the price for Omnath Locus of Rage at $1.50, I think people are just using him in Commander decks. That's why he's $1.50 instead of like 50 cents. I think people put like Hedron Archive in something too. I don't remember what else. I think Green Warden was one of them. I know Part the Water Veil is in something other than Standard. So a lot of those a long time ago hit their bottom price that they're probably not going to go a whole lot below even when they do cycle out of Standard, because Standard has no influence on their price because nobody's playing the cards in Standard already. So don't pretend like, oh, the prices are just going to jump off a cliff like 6 weeks out from when it cycles. For some cards, that's true, but for quite a few others, they've already bottomed out a long time ago. I mean, just think of how long ago BFZ came out. That was a freaking long time ago. So let's look at Oath of the Gatewatch. I mean, Kalitas Trader of Gat, $15. He's really popular in zombie decks. You got Chandra Flamecaller at $8. She's just ultra hyper powerful. She's played in a lot of decks. Thought Not Seer, I had no idea he was still $7. Even I'm surprised by that, actually. And, I think, honestly, he's just played in Modern. I really do. I've never seen that card in Standard recently. Kozilek's Return, okay, that's everything. That's $6, that's just everywhere. The Nissa Voice of Zendikar, 3-cost Planeswalker, yeah. Very, very, very popular. People play it. Then you got the rest of your man lands. Those are, of course, high because they're lands, they're man lands, whatever. How far are they really going to crash after they cycle out? Not very. They're man lands. I mean, they do automatically come in taps, so they're second-rate lands, but some decks just need them to win because they dodge so much stuff that says non-land, 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 non-land permanent. So then you got Kozilek. I don't know, maybe people are using him as a cheap Ulamog substitute. He's $5. Then you got like Reality Smasher. That must be exclusively Modern for $4. Sphinx of the Final Word, that's played right now. World Breaker, I'm not even sure. Crush of Tentacles, that's played in everything. A little bit of Standard, a little bit of everything else. Displacer, that's some kind of infinite loop thing, $3. So I'm going through these in reverse order. I mean, eventually you hit like Oath of Nissa, which is like $2. Needle Spires are practically worthless. And then you hit the dollar pile, which actually has one card in it, and then it's a 79-cent Eiley. So I wouldn't say, oh, should you not spend $3 on a playset of 4 Eileys if you want them in your deck? No, that's idiotic. I mean, like, how psychotic are you going to be about losing 79 cents? Oh my god. And honestly, she probably won't bottom out lower than 50 cents, like, ever, because she's actually a moderately good commander. So the whole, oh, you're going to lose all your money, you're going to lose all your money, unless you literally buy Kalitas or Chandra, you're probably not going to lose your money, because half of these, like I said, are really popular in, like, Modern or Commander or something else. That's where their price basis is. So if you were to buy a highly net deck presence card, yes, you will lose your money, and that's the key point to this. It's typically the net deckers, the pro wannabes, you know, the douchebags, the tournament chasing, you know, copycat, just miserable players. Those are the ones telling people, don't buy BFZ, don't buy OGW. And they're translating, don't buy the top cards right now. Don't spend $15 on Kalitas times 4, $60, because you're going to lose your butt on them. in a hurry because the price is just going to crash one day. That is true, but you also just shouldn't net deck at all because you will lose money. So it's a completely pointless point. I mean, it's the same people spreading the stupid rumor that they themselves believe, oh, Magic is too expensive, Standard is too expensive. Well, yes, if all you ever do is net deck, all you ever conceive of is net decking, it is not even on your radar to build your own deck or show up with a $30 deck, then yes, I guess that is true for you. It is really expensive, but stop telling new players that because they're not going to become net decking douchebags, probably. So it really is those types of people who spread these completely false rumors, or I should say partially false rumors. I mean, like I said, depending on your playstyle and what you do, yeah, it could be true for you, but in general, I think the whole, oh, everybody just jump ship on your BFZ and OGW, or you're going to lose so much money if you don't sell it now, 115 days out. No, if you need the damn card, buy it, trade for it, or use it. I mean, just whatever. I really just don't even like the idea in general of, okay, I'm going to buy a deck for, $100, $150, moderately mid-range expensive. But I'm so concerned with price that if I see the slightest thing happen to the cards in the deck, boom, I'm going to sell it all. Disassemble the deck. Yeah, I was in the middle of using it. I love the deck, but I'm going to disassemble it because I'm so price-minded and price-conscious. But, don't build a $150 deck then. I mean, if that's you, just don't spend the money in the first place. So I don't agree with spending way more than you can afford, which is usually what causes this, and then kind of trying to roll it back and get your money back out of the deck. You're kind of just renting the cards, and then you try to trade them away, buy list them, sell them cash, whatever. And then, your goal is, oh, I only have $50, so I'm going to spend $150, but I'm getting $100 back out of the deck. You will have to sell it before you're comfortable in almost any case. So just don't do that. Just don't build the deck. Come up with a different idea, build a different deck. I mean, that's my solution at the end of the day. Now, BFZ and OGW are not the only sets cycling out, obviously. I mean, hopefully you know that at this point. Some people don't. I can't really say obviously because, well, Wizards has changed it so many damn times. You go to Eldritch Moon and you have got some power. I mean, Collective Brutality is still $11. That card is insane. I mean, that's like a Mind Rot with options. It is so good. So, unfortunately, I've wanted to put it in a couple of my decks, and I just didn't, because I just didn't want the deck to cost $40 when the whole rest of the deck cost $20. That's $60. It's just stupid. Just play without it. It's not that good. But, I mean, Lilianas are 38. Grim Flayers, for some reason, are 15. I didn't know anybody was still playing Black-Green Delirium. Gisela, they claim, is 10. I don't think that's true. I think that's a little high. I'm going off of Card Kingdom, by the way. Emrakul is still 950 in their system. That, I can't even explain that to you. And, I mean, I guess it's like a secondary fetch card in something in Modern. I don't freaking know. Spell Quellers are still $6, though, and that's where I'd start to say, okay, so 4 times 6, $24. So should I drop $24 in Spell Quellers? Well, they're good enough, and their price is basically propped up by Modern right now. Because some people play them in Modern because they're just so damn good. Same with the next card under them price-wise, $5.50 for a Selfless Spirit. Selfless Spirits are played in Standard, obviously, but most of their value is propped up by Modern. Otherwise, it would probably be, I don't know, $2 right about now. I mean, people open quite a bit of Eldritch Moon. Oh, and I skipped right over Shadows because, honestly, there aren't that many good cards in it, but there's better examples in Eldritch Moon of, like, cards that are, like, 5+ that are really, 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 really good. You got your Crypt Breaker. That's just okay. It's in Zombies, whatever. It's like $4. Ishkana, okay, apparently people are still playing Delirium, $4. But let's go back to even the higher ones, because, I mean, $16 for a full set of Ishkana is okay. I mean, 16, it's not really going to break the bank. It's a little high, but maybe you could trade for it. Not the end of the world. And that's what? 7 to 10 cards down if, well, it's like 5 cards down if you ignore the net deck cards. If you were to take Selfless Spirits and hold them for the next 115 days, and the next day after they cycle out, you try to sell them, they will probably be $4 or more a piece. I mean, there's a reason cards are above $1.50 or $2 right now, and it's very rarely because of Standard, unless it's really obviously in Standard, as in aka net decked. So, I mean, if I really wanted to play Sigarda's Aid, oh, $1.50, ooh, it's not a 50-cent rare, oh no, but you may cast Aura and Equipment spells as though they had Flash, I mean, you're kidding? And then equipment auto-attaches at your leisure? Well, when it enters battlefield, I guess I should say. For 1 mana? Yeah, drop $6 on that. I mean, it's $6. One of your lands probably costs $6. Like, at a certain point, you should just get over it, you know? And that price point comes up really quick. There's only a couple that are on the fence. I'd say, like, Tree of Perdition, Spell Queller, Selfless Spirit, maybe Crypt Breaker. Thalia's kind of up there, $3.50 a piece. So if you just really need Thalia for your deck because you need their stuff to come in tapped because you're running a speed rush deck with a lot of combat tricks, in other words, my deck that runs it, I mean, $14 a set. Okay, maybe it's cheaper on eBay. I'd say that's like the point where I'd say, yeah, I mean, who cares? Just ignore the 115 days. Ignore the fact that it's cycling out. It's not going to be worth 0 on the day that it cycles out. You might be able to get like $1 for them on a buy list maybe. So you can recover some of your money if the card is remotely playable. And if it's not playable in anything but standard, like I said, chances are it's not a $5 card. It's not a $3 card even. Like, for example, Collective Effort is an insane card. It is so good. It has Escalate, and then the 2 options. Destroy target creature with power 4 or greater. That's huge. Or put a 1/1 counter on each creature target player controls. Or do both if you pay the Escalate cost, which is tap a untapped creature. You don't even have to pay mana for it. 79 cents. So if you need Collective Effort, I mean, there are people out there legitimately saying, "Oh, don't waste your money. That's Eldritch Moon. Don't buy it. Don't build the deck. Don't put it in your deck. Just pretend it already cycled out." It's 79 cents for God's sake. You know why? Because there's better cards than this for less mana in Modern. There's just no market outside of Standard, thus the not $5 price tag. So in general, if it's not in a net deck and it's not in a Modern deck, it's pretty much not expensive, so just don't even worry about it. So overall, I mean, it just becomes like a non-issue. I mean, even Vol'daren Pariah, that's a crazy good card, 79 cents. You know, Imprisoned to the Moon, insanely powerful card, 69 cents. Eternal Scourge, 50 cents. Even I thought it cost more than that. So at a certain price level, just buy the thing, and welcome to Magic, you have to pay for lands. I mean, if you're running 2-color, 3-color, the deck's price just went up. That's just how Magic works. Always has been, always will be. Would I cripple my deck's mana fixing just so I didn't have to drop $20 on 4 lands that for some reason I don't have from BFZ? Are you kidding me? No, give myself a giant disadvantage at F&M with my deck I just built and can't wait to play with because I want to save $20, which honestly will not be $20 loss. I could probably get $10 out of them even 100 days from now. No, buy the damn cards. I mean, that's why I think people are really exaggerating over this. Now, there is a completely separate angle to this. It's not, oh, I need this for a deck and I don't have it. Do I drop the money on it? Is it worth it or is it wasted money? That's one part of it. The other part is, I have 4 of these in my trade binder. Should I sell them? And a lot of people are saying, hey, don't trade with people who are trying to shove, you know, BFZ and OGW cards on you because they're trying to scam you. I mean, it's 115 days. If it was 4 weeks out and the cards were going to be illegal in 4 more FNMs, or like 3 and then 4 including the one you're at right then, okay, maybe those people are being a little bit less than honest or not mentioning it to you because they think you don't know or something. Maybe then I wouldn't trade with somebody who's just absolutely pushing the BFZ really hard. But right now, a third of a year out with 16 FNMs to go, somebody's like, oh, you want to trade my Gideon? They're not trying to scam you, trust me. I mean, you want me to trade my Drana? That's worth $450. That's about equal. Take the damn Drana, for God's sake. I mean, she's not going down anytime real soon. So I think calling it like trade sharking or whatever, and people are all trying to jump ship, and it's like hot potato, the last person stuck with the card loses. I think that's a little exaggerated. It's a little early for that. I mean, even 2 months out, I think it's a little early for that, and we're just about double that. So people need to calm down about that a little bit. I mean, you should always be watching out for shady traders and stuff, but I think that's going a little bit far. When it comes to trading, you either need the card or you don't. Like, that's it. I mean, that's the only thing I consider in a trade. Not, oh, if I trade for ERMEHGERD, it'll be legal a little bit longer than this. Whatever. I don't care. I need the card now. Who says a year from now I'm going to need to put the card in a deck? I probably won't. So who cares? Just in general, don't limit yourself constantly based on long-term to mid-term-ish value. Just build what you think will win, spend however much you think is healthy and appropriate to spend on the game, and just leave it at that and don't get in such a, your undies in a bundle over the whole, oh, it's cycling out, cycling out, cycling out. But if you had 8 copies of a really decent mythic from OGW, we'll say, I'm not sure that actually exists. Nothing comes to mind. I was going to give an example, but nothing comes to mind. Would I maybe try to buy list it right now? Well, yeah, it depends on the price. Would I try to trade it away on people because it's cycling? No, because 1, you're being a dick, and 2, it's way too early anyway and you're wrong, so it kind of defeats itself. But would I get actual in-store credit on a buy list for an appropriately priced card? Yeah. It's just, have you tried to price out a Shambling Vent, a Drana, a Dragon Master, an Obnix, or a Kiora on a buy list right now? I think the vendors are a little bit ahead of you. Now, vendors are super paranoid about losing money because they cannot afford to do it. So they've drank the Kool-Aid and jumped right in on full blast, oh my god, it's cycling out, quote, soon. So they've lowered their prices just because of the age of the set. And honestly, they started doing that about 6 months ago for BFZ. So, yeah, well, probably longer than, like a year ago even. Like, as soon as 2 sets removed from BFZ happened, yeah, they weren't really paying top dollar for BFZ. But that aside, if you can find a really good price and you are absolutely sure, 100% sure that you are not going to need the card in the next 115 days, trade it in. And I cannot stress that enough. Don't trade your dual lands, because what if all of a sudden Hour of Devastation comes out, which we know next to nothing about, and you're like, oh man, black-white, I've got the best idea for black-white deck. Oops, I buy listed my Shambling Vents for $1 a piece, now I have to rebuy them for $5 a piece. But I mean, if it's a really specific card, you're like, Omnath, am I going to play a landfall deck? No, I'm done with landfall. I am extremely sure Omnath is not going in a deck. He costs 7 for God's sake. Yeah, buy list him. Honestly, I think it's 25 cents on a buy list. Not the best example. But maybe if you're absolutely adamant about not using Gideon Ally of Zendikar in a deck, either just in principle or because you really just want the money, yeah, I would trade him in right now. I think now is a really good time to do that. So there is, like I said, a little bit of truth in the whole alarmist, oh my god, it's all cycling out, the sky is falling, we're all going to die. I would say, though, in the example of Gideon or Ulamog, if you've got a couple copies, it's more about, hey, the price quadrupled because they're in net decks, and less about, hey, I can't believe the price is still high, don't they know the sets are cycling out? Because it really has way more to do with what decks are popular. So that's really the number one factor. If you're so concerned about money, watch the net decks, watch the popular cards, watch for, 4-to-1, 10-to-1 price spikes, and then take advantage of them then. That should be your big timing control for when to trade stuff in or buy list stuff. The whole, oh, it's cycling out, not this early. It's too early, it's too exaggerated, and the vast majority of the cards have crashed long ago. So overall, that's the best way I can break it down. A little bit of truth on both sides, but the vast majority of it is people are just alarmist and they're exaggerating, and it's just not true. So play whatever you want, keep whatever you want. If you're sitting on a pile of 15 Ulamogs, I would sell them, but that's unrelated to when it's cycling out. That's just, hey, they're 26 bucks. And hopefully I just saved you guys some money or some stress, because people have been telling you it left and right probably. Hopefully that helps you guys out, and I will see you next video.